Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to do a cut crease using concealer. I'm going to be doing like a bronzy look rather than like a blue, pink, like a vibrant colour, just because more people will want to know how to do it with like a bronze, like a natural eyeshadow, because obviously it's more common for people to want to wear like neutral eyeshadows rather than vibrant like out there colour. So for this tutorial I am going to be using the James Charles X Morphe palette and the 35G bronze palette from Morphe. And then of course I've got all my makeup brushes, a concealer. This concealer can be any concealer that you want, obviously. I am using the Fenty one. And then I also have an eye primer and a beauty blender. Before we get started, I would advise you to do your eyebrows before you start this. I barely put any product on my eyebrows, so for me it really doesn't matter. But if you're doing like your eyebrows, then I would pause this video and go ahead and do your eyebrows and then come back and watch the tutorial. Also, some people like to do their eyeshadow after they've done like their foundation. I'm going to be doing it before I do my foundation, just because if there is any fallout, it won't fall onto the foundation, and it makes it easier for me that I can just clean it up afterwards. So let's get on with the video. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get your eye primer, and you're just going to put it all over your eyelids basically. I'm not using this palette, I'm just using the mirror inside of it. So what you're going to want to do is actually put quite a lot on, and you're just going to want to cover your whole eyelid basically. Not like massive amounts, but enough to cover your eye. And you want to put the same amount on the other side. And then I'm going to take my beauty blender and I'm just going to blend it out, although you can just use your fingers if you would rather use your fingers. So as always, when you're doing any eyeshadow look, you should normally start with a very light base. So I am going in with my James Charles palette, and I am going to take this white shade here and basically just set my eyelids where I have just put the eye primer. And to do that, I'm going to be taking my Spectrum B03 brush. You can literally use any brush you want for this. I just like a big brush so I can just dab it all in. Okay, so once you have done that, now you can start going in with your colour. So we're going to start off with kind of like our darkest shade. So when you put on the concealer, then you'll put the lightest shade on top of that concealer. Unfortunately, these palettes don't have like the names of the shades, so I'm going to have to like show you. But I am now going in with the bronze palette, and I'm going to be taking this shade right here. This one right here, and I'm using my Spectrum B010 brush. I have washed this, by the way. It's just green from the last time that I used it. So you don't want too much, and you're just gonna basically start in the center of your eyelid and then just blend it out really. And then once you find like the technique that works for you, you can start building up the eyeshadow. So I'm not going to zoom us out, I'm just going to like talk with us zoomed in. If you're happy with the colour that you have already, then skip to the part where I put concealer on. Or if you're not like me, I am now going to take a darker shade and just kind of put it on top, just so I feel like I want it to be a little bit darker. So I'm going to go in with just a darker shade, any darker shade in the palette. It really doesn't matter as long as it is still obviously a brown, and I'm just going to blend that over the top basically. This doesn't have to be super good, like right now. It doesn't have to be like really clean or anything. It can just be a blended mess. So now I am going to quickly do what I did on this eye. On this eye, because I like to do them both at once. Some people like to do one and then move on to the other, whereas I like to do them kind of both at once. I won't show you me doing this eye just because it's exactly the same and it can get a little bit boring. Okay, so now I have finished both my eyes, like with the first lot of eyeshadow. I did make them a little bit darker, mainly because I did the other eye a tiny bit darker too much. So I had to like balance it out. So now it's time for the concealer. Now you might be a little bit nervous, but honestly it is so much easier than you think it is, and I promise you, you will be able to do this. Okay, so I am using the Spectrum A18 brush, and it's literally a flat brush like this. Why is it not focusing? It's literally just like a flat brush, and you can use any flat brush, any size, it depends on your preference. I just like to use this one because this is one that suits me. And then I'm using just my normal concealer that I use under my eyes, and what I am going to do with that concealer is I'm going to get it all over the tip of the brush. So I'm going to put it on the sides as well, and on both of the flat sides and over the top, so the whole thing is covered in concealer at the top. There's just no point putting it on the bottom because the bottom of the brush won't go onto your eye, so you're just wasting the concealer that you put under there. So as you can see, this is where I have put the concealer. You don't need to put it all the way down. There's no reason for it other than you are just going to waste that concealer because it's highly likely that that part of the brush won't touch your eyelid. And makeup can be expensive, so you don't want to waste it. Okay, so I've zoomed us in so you can see really easily what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to literally just pat it on my eye like this, just down here, really, really messy. Just like that, and then I'm going to look up and then I can see how high I need to go, and I'm not going to take it all the way out because I don't want it all the way out. I'm going to blend it. So I'm going to go forwards like this, and then as you get nearer to your nearer to the inner corner, you're obviously not going to want to put as much on, so I find it easier just to look down and do it as you get closer in. And don't worry if you get concealer like underneath your eye, it really doesn't matter. So once you have done that, all you need to do is just look up and around, and then you find where that line needs to be. You might think it's a little bit high, but it's actually not, and when you have finished your look, just trust me, it will look really nice. So then you just kind of want to pat it all over the eyelid where it needs to go. Try not to touch that line that you've made because that line will be really, really like, not straight, that's the wrong word, but it'll be really clean. So you kind of want to just get close to it but don't touch it, if you get what I mean, because that way it will stay super neat. And don't worry about this edge because what we're going to do is we're going to blend it out with some brown eyeshadow. And then as you come in, it can get a little bit hard. This is where, if you want to, you can use a smaller brush to get the inner corner. But as long as you're careful, you should be okay. And you can look up still every now and then just to make sure that you're still in the right place. So that is basically it. It's a lot more simple than you think. And if you feel like you want more coverage on the concealer, all you have to do is put basically another layer of concealer, or just put some more concealer on your brush and go back over what you just did. Although obviously you don't have to do the whole look up thing because you already have the line where it needs to be. So I'm going to go ahead and do my other eye. Obviously I'm not going to film up the colours again, you just saw what you can do. But if you want to just look again, then rewind this video and rewatch how I did it. So obviously now it's time to put some sparkle on. You can literally obviously put whichever eyeshadow you want on top of this. I would recommend putting on an eyeshadow on top of the concealer that is lighter than the bronze shade that you already just put on, mainly because the point of the concealer is to make another eyeshadow on top kind of pop a bit more. So I am going to be going in with this eyeshadow here. It's like the first one in the palette, just because it is like quite a bright eyeshadow. And to put this on, I'm taking the Spectrum A15 brush, which is literally just this tiny brush here. It's not green. Oh no, see, it's not green. It's like just come from a green eyeshadow like I did the other day. So what you're going to want to do is just get quite a lot on your brush, obviously like not too much, and then what you're going to want to do is just kind of put that all over your eyelid. And then the closer you get to your, like where the concealer meets the bronze colour, you're going to kind of want to be really careful on where you place that eyeshadow so you don't put it in the wrong place. Now I find it easier basically just to use the brush to go around this part of the eye at the top and to get right in this corner here, and then the rest of it I actually like to use my finger because you actually get a lot more of a shimmer rather than using a brush. So as you can see, I have done my other eye as well with the sparkly shade. What we're going to want to do now is we're going to want to like blend the outer edge so it kind of is a nice blend of the gold and the bronze shade, so it doesn't look as like a harsh line. They're like blended together. To do that, I am going to be taking my Spectrum B11 brush. This brush is very similar to the brush that we used in the first place. It's actually, I think, a little bit smaller or the same. You can see what you're going to want to do is literally just gently blend these in together, and then we will add some more brown when we feel like it. I've taken some colour, more brown, the same colour that we took before, and I'm just going to blend that in. Not loads, just enough to make it look like there isn't a harsh line. So you want there to be like a harsh line over here, and then this bit here you want to kind of be blended, but obviously you don't want it to be too blended. You just don't want it to be like bam, straight line. So the best thing that you want is this to kind of be like not necessarily an ombre, but like not for it to be as harsh as the line that goes above, but you want this line above to be as harsh as possible, just because that's like the whole point of the effect. So as you can see on this side, there's like a full-on line, whereas on this side it's kind of more blended in. I'm going to go ahead and do this eye and then I'll come back. Okay, so now I've done that, I'm going to kind of do an eyeliner, but I'm going to use eyeshadow rather than an actual eyeliner. I just personally find using an eyeshadow, like a black one, is so much easier than trying to put like a liquid eyeliner along the top of my eye. However, when I do put a pair of lashes on, I like to go over the pair of lashes with a liquid eyeliner to kind of blend them in a little bit. But for now, I'm going to be taking, of course, my NYX 10 brush, which is totally, it's like flat. It's like a totally flat brush. And then in the James Charles palette, I'm going to be taking the like black shade, the big one, this big black shade. And I'm going to be taking it as like a really small line across my, like across the lash line. You can make this as thick as you want or as thin as you want. I like to start I like to start off with it being quite thin, and then when I put my lashes on it kind of thickens up a little bit. So literally all you're going to want to do, what I do is I just kind of rub it in and tap it on until I'm happy with it. Once you're happy with how it looks, so I have obviously done my eyeliner but not too thick. You can go ahead and take either a makeup wipe or a little bit of makeup remover and just go along the edge like that if you need to clean anything up. So now I'm gonna leave it there for now and go ahead and do the rest of my makeup, like foundation and all of that, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to finish off the eyeshadow look. Okay, so now I have finished all like my foundation and that, I am going to go back to doing like the eyeshadow and just finishing it off. And we also have to obviously do mascara and our false eyelashes. Now that I have finally got my eyelash glue, I can finally wear some false eyelashes. So to start off with, from where we've probably put like our foundations on and stuff, our eyeshadows aren't gonna be as like blended out. They're gonna be a little bit sharp. So to start off with, all we're gonna do is blend out the edges ever so slightly, not loads, just kind of to put it back into place where we want it. And I'm gonna take the same brush that I used in the first place, the B11 brush. And I'm really not doing a huge amount here. I'm gonna literally do some tiny circular motions on the outside of my eye, barely touching my eye, so it doesn't have too much of a harsh line basically. And I'm literally, that's all I'm doing. And then I'm gonna do the same on the other side, barely touching the eye. And then obviously making sure both sides are even, and that's it. That is all I'm doing. That is it. Because otherwise if you do too much, there's no going back anymore. So obviously that is the finished eyeshadow on top. Now we need to go underneath our eyes, like along the waterline with some eyeshadow. So the same colours that we used in the first place, I am going to put along my lower lash line. So I'm going to be taking the A13 brush from Spectrum, and I'm going to take the same darker shades that I used for the bronze, and I'm literally just going to take them along my lower lash line. And honestly, you can make this as much, like you can put as much as you want under here. I personally don't like it when there's a lot of, like when it comes down quite far. I like it to be quite thin, so I'm literally not going to put huge amounts on, but this is a personal preference on the amount of eyeshadow you put on. I would recommend starting with a small amount and then adding a tiny bit if you want to. So my tip is just to kind of tilt your head down like this, and look into the mirror. It just makes it so much easier. And all I'm going to do is like very gently go along my lash line, and then also here you're kind of going to want to match it up with what's on top, so you can kind of blend a tiny bit into the eyeshadow on the top, if that makes sense. So to kind of make it a little bit more clear, if that didn't make sense, is when you start here and you're blending it out, blend it up to the eyeshadow on top of your eye a little bit, not too much, and then it just creates like a nice like flow of eyeshadow. I think that's the right word. And then obviously just blend it underneath. And then as you can see literally by this eye and the difference of this eye, like how much difference it makes to the eyeshadow. So I remember when I first started out with makeup that I wouldn't do it because I was a little bit nervous for it, but honestly you just gotta step out of your comfort zone. And like even just over the past couple weeks, if you look at the difference from my first few videos of me doing like makeup tutorials and now, even within like 2 weeks I have come so far with like my techniques and stuff. And then obviously do the same on the other side. So once that is finished, you are all done with eyeshadow, so well done. Now it's time for false eyelashes. I know false eyelashes can be a little bit scary. I'm going to put massive ones on this week just because I'm going out, literally just going to Primark, so I do not want massive false eyelashes on just to go to the shops, and they can be a little bit uncomfortable sometimes. So I'm going to be putting on my trusty Bahama lashes in Bahama Mama because I love them. But before we put any sort of false eyelashes on, what you're going to want to do first is actually curl your eyelashes, like your natural ones, just so then when the false eyelashes do go on, they blend in with your false eyelashes easier. So once I've got my eyelash glue on now, I'm literally just going to leave them for a little while, just so they can get tacky. The glue can get a little bit sticky. I am using the Duo eyelash glue. I think this is the clear one. Let me see. This is the eyelash glue. It's like literally the blue Duo one. And then to put my lashes actually on, I'm taking these tweezers. I'm not sure where these are from. They came in my glossy box. I know that if I bought these, they would have been £15, which is a lot for a pair of tweezers, but they came in my glossy box and they're pink, so they're really cute. Now we have both pairs of eyelashes on. So once you have your eyelashes on, obviously we're going to want to put mascara and that on, but the key is to wait. Do not put mascara on straight after you have just put on your eyelashes because they are not dry yet, which means they could move around as soon as you touch them with mascara. So whilst you wait for that, I am actually going to put eyeliner in my lower lash, on my lower lash line, and I'm taking the Kiko Milano black eyeliner. It says 300 on it, and I'm literally just going to put it on my lower lash line in my waterline. So before we put our mascara on our lashes, whilst we wait for them to dry, I'm going to put some lipstick on. And I'm taking the Estee Lauder Pure Colour Envy, I think it's Rose Tea, the shade. They're super nice, like pink colour, and I'm just going to put it on. Okay, so now it's been like about 3 minutes since I put my eyelashes on, and I'm just going in with my Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, and I'm literally going to barely touch my eyelashes. And we are done. I have put a little bit of highlighter just in my inner corners. That is like by choice, you don't have to do that. So thank you for watching this video. I hope it helped you learn how to do a cut and crease and kind of show you that it is way easier than you think. If you would like me to do more like cut and crease tutorials, but more like on a bright colour, so like how to do maybe a blue cut crease, then comment down below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Bye!